France. Money! It's a gas, or so said Roger Walters. But as you know, many gases are combustible. And in the case of broadcaster MediaPro's 2018 TV deal with France's Liga, there was a combustion. You see, Liga has long been considered the 5th best league in Europe. It may surprise you to know then that the TV deal signed with MediaPro back in 2018 was then the 2nd largest in the whole of Europe, second only to the Premier League. The 4-year agreement with the Chinese-owned company was made for 814 million euros per year for the rights to 80% of the games, a staggering 60% increase on the previous deal. So if you're now thinking this all sounds too good to be true, then you are very, very clever and accurate. Please like the video, because trouble began almost immediately. The deal was intended to run between 2020 and 2024. MediaPro did pay their first 172 million euro instalment, but then asked for a deferral of their second. The first sign of problems to come, you might think. Well, not quite, because the first sign came earlier in 2018, when MediaPro had made a similarly eye-watering offer for Serie A rights. However, the offer was unanimously rejected by all 20 Italian clubs after MediaPro failed to provide guarantees over funding. But back to France. After asking for a deferral, it was then revealed that the company were actually seeking to renegotiate the terms of their deal, claiming that the effects of the pandemic and the closure of stadiums and bars, as well as the retraction in advertising, had made the agreement unrealistic. They asked for a 25% reduction in cost. And then things got even worse, because in December 2020, just 3 months into their first contracted year, it was announced that Telefoot, the €25 per month subscription channel that had shown MediaPro's games, would be closing and that their rights package would be vacated. French football was plunged into crisis. And while broadcasting revenue isn't evenly split across the league, it does account for an average of 50% of club income. The calamity left the league needing to borrow 120 million euros just to cover the shortfall. Step in Canal+, French premium TV channel and producer of the series Mad Pigeon, short films in which non-Danish actors are asked to speak in a language that they imagine to be Danish. Canal+, previous long-term rights holders had refused to match MediaPro's bid in 2018, with their chairman calling the figures completely unrealistic. However, in that same auction, Qatari media group beIN had secured the rights to the remaining 20% of the fixtures, agreeing to pay 330 million euros a year between 2020 and 2024. Fearing that they too had overpaid, beIN would sub-license those rights back to Canal+. It's a big circle, you see the circle. So in January 2021, after MediaPro's collapse, Canal+ also snatched up the now available other 80% of the rights at a discounted price, believed to be in the region of just 35 million euros. Combined, it briefly gave them 100% of the rights to Liga, before it was agreed that another auction would then be held at the season's end, and would you believe it, this one would also become contentious. You see, Canal+ believed that the entire rights offering should have been re-auctioned, rather than just the 80% that MediaPro had briefly held. And this is because their sub-licensing deal with beIN is subject to binding contracts and compels them to pay the full amount of 330 million euros for a further 3 years, a figure that they argue was inflated by MediaPro's unrealistic bid, the one that collapsed, and which has been the product of a distorted market. That seems pretty reasonable. However, back in March, 2 French courts disagreed with this and found in favour of the league. It's left Canal+ in the unenviable position of paying well over the odds for a rights package with an estimated worth of just 100 million euros. But at least they have exclusivity, right? I mean, that's something. Wrong! Because when MediaPro's original 80% was finally re-auctioned last week, it was not Canal+, but online bookstore Amazon, who actually hoovered up the whole lot for a much smaller fee. And let's really spell out quite how absurd this is, because Canal+ are still paying 330 million euros for 20% of the rights, while Amazon are paying just 250 million euros for 80%. Naturally, Canal+ are furious, releasing a statement which castigated the league for siding with a new entrant over traditional broadcasting partners, while also declaring that they have no intention of either paying their contract or of showing their portion of the games. And they intend to sue, meaning that with just 2 months until the new season begins, French football again finds itself in disarray.
The Athletic is home to some of the world's best sports journalists, including David Ornstein, Daniel Taylor, Ollie Kay, Amy Lawrence and Rafa Honigstein. There are journalists dedicated to each Premier League team, so every fan gets the coverage they deserve, not just the big clubs. And you can try it for free now for 30 days. See the link in the description.